Manuscripts are the main way that people communicated via writing for nearly 2,000 years. Up until the age of print, this is the only way to transmit literature from one generation to another, from one culture to another, from one place to another. It gives us huge insight into the people, the places where these were made, the people who read and used them, and what they were doing with these texts that were so important to them. So they tell us about the broader culture in which they were made and used. Put simply, paratexts are everything in any given manuscript or book beyond the main text itself. Page numbers, titles, footnotes, bibliographies, indices, cross-reference systems, all of these things frame and sort of clandestinely influence what readers do with the text when they come to it. Paratexts are ubiquitous. They are hidden in plain sight. Paratexts are the things that we're not supposed to see when we read a text, but they sort of secretly guide our experiences with literature.
So if you were to talk about the collection here at the Chester Beatty in terms of numbers, there's about 27,000 objects in the collection. We're primarily manuscripts and books, but we also have albums of prints as well as single prints, and there are some objects that relate to the manuscript collection. There are over 50 languages represented in the collection. They range from 3rd millennium Sumerian cuneiform tablets to 3rd century biblical papyrus to 15th century illuminated books of hours all the way to 20th century fashion plates. It's the role of any museum, really, to both preserve its collection for future generations and to allow engagement with it for scholarly research, but also for public enjoyment, to create a narrative. We're kind of guiding you, telling you what parts that we think are particularly interesting and important.
So the Manuscripts in the Mind exhibition is a showcase of the work we've been doing on the project, which is a really exciting, innovative collaboration between philosophers, philologists, theologians, curators, cognitive scientists to try to understand how people are reading and understanding these traditions. We're going to showcase that work we've been doing, and one of the big achievements of this project is that we've actually got all these people to work at the edge of their own discipline to answer bigger questions than they can answer with the tools of their own discipline. As people come to the exhibition and engage it over the next 6 months, they'll have opportunities to inform the studies we're doing in the space, either through just their sort of passive behavior and passive measurements we have, through taking surveys, through the changing out of different labels to understand how people respond to the paratexts in the museum space itself. And also, people will have the opportunity at certain times to put on mobile eye tracking glasses.
We are looking at things like perception, for which we use eye tracking first and foremost, but also things like just viewing time on images or manuscripts. When we're presenting the manuscript, we're also measuring at the same time how long people engage with it before providing the ratings. And then maybe a block of open-ended questions, because we want to do some qualitative research as well. But then we have experiments, for example, where we measure skin conductance and pupil size whilst listening to chanting and reading Tibetan manuscripts, for example. These emotional responses, as I said, they can be detected partly by these measurements. And we bring everything together to get a holistic picture of what happens in readers, perceivers, when they engage with manuscripts.
It's sort of the pinnacle of the project that we're doing, but it's also one part in a bigger narrative that we're trying to tell about how people engage these traditions, both ancient and modern. I think we're really just starting to scratch the surface of some of these questions around manuscripts or sacred traditions more generally. So I'm interested to develop more explicit work on empirical biblical studies that partners with cognitive scientists and data scientists and social scientists. So I think there's huge possibilities for not only understanding what the Bible is, but rethinking how we can go about understanding scriptural texts beyond traditional modes of biblical criticism.